Would it really be a Disney movie without some heartbreak? Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 Disney moments that made us ugly cry.
There's no one I'd rather be than me.
For this list, we're looking at the most devastating moments to ever happen in animated Disney movies, so you won't find Homeward Bound on this list. Obviously, a spoiler alert is in order.
There. It's okay, Daddy's here. Daddy's got you. I promise.
Number 20. Grandma Tala's death. Moana.
Grandma.
Moana's relationship with her grandmother is a close one. But considering Tala's advanced age, it doesn't come as a huge surprise when Moana loses her during the story. Moana isn't present for the bitter end, and watching her light go out from afar is almost sadder. Luckily, Grandmother Tala is reincarnated as a manta ray, who helps our heroine begin her journey.
See her light at the night in the sea, she calls me.
Surprisingly enough, Moana's grandmother wasn't a character in the first iterations of the movie's storyboard. The figure was later added by one of the writers, giving the film an extra emotional punch.
There is no way you could go that I won't be with you.
Number 19. Rapunzel's parents. Tangled. Rapunzel's parents, aka the King and Queen of Corona, were understandably crushed after the evil Mother Gothel kidnapped their infant daughter. And you'd need to be pretty evil yourself to not appreciate their pain. The crux of this heart-wrenching scene is when the Queen gently wipes away a tear from the King's crestfallen face. A sense of hopelessness lingers throughout the scene, as the emotionally distraught parents mourn yet another year without their daughter. Thankfully, this is a Disney movie, so in the end, Rapunzel is reunited with her family and everyone lives happily ever after. Number 18. Dory's Pleas. Finding Nemo. After having been swallowed by a blue whale, attacked by an anglerfish, and chased by sharks in the search for his lost son Nemo, Marlin was ready to throw in the towel. Something that absolutely destroys Dory, his friend and search partner.
Hey, wait a minute. Well, wait. Where are you going?
It's over, Dory. We were too late.
As she desperately pleads with him not to give up, it's a fool's errand to try and keep one's composure.
Please don't go away. Please? No one's ever stuck with me for so long before.
It's Dory's stammered yet earnest monologue that gets us all wet and blubbery, particularly when she throws up that last Hail Mary.
And I look at you and I'm home. Please. I don't want that to go away. I don't want to forget.
Gets us every time. Number 17. Sulley Says Goodbye. Monsters, Inc.
You mean I can't see her again?
When Boo enters the world of Monstropolis, the audience knows that she'll eventually have to return home. But no one could anticipate just how heartbreaking it would be when she finally does. The relationship she forms with Sulley and Mike is a sweet one, so their farewell is inevitably poignant. When Kitty tucks her into bed and says his goodbyes, we tear up just as much as he does. It's made all the sadder by the fact that Boo doesn't understand what's going on.
Goodbye, Boo.
Kitty.
Kitty has to go.
Seeing her run to open the closet once he's gone is probably the saddest moment of all.
Boo. Kitty.
Number 16. The Razed Village. Mulan. Mulan is set during China's Han Dynasty and tells the story of a young woman who impersonates a man in order to help fight an army of invading Huns. While there are plenty of tear-inducing scenes to choose from, we're going with the one where Mulan and the rest of her military cohorts come upon the remains of a burnt-out village. The scene features a myriad of shots guaranteed to make you shed a tear or two, but the one that really hits home is when Mulan finds a child's doll laying amongst the rubble. No dialogue is needed, as her face says it all.
The General.
Number 15. Wally almost dies. Wally. After seeing their relationship unfold with human-like tenderness, watching Wally and Eve say goodbye is almost too much to handle. For a scene with almost no dialogue and no real people involved, it's surprising how touching the moment is. Thankfully, this isn't the end for our favorite little robot, as Wally is brought back to life. However, the moment that follows is possibly even sadder, as Wally appears to have lost his memory and can't remember Eve or anything else from his past. Fortunately, it doesn't take more than a kiss to spark his memory.
Eve? Wally.
Number 14. Explaining Death and Loss, The Good Dinosaur. Try watching this scene without getting choked up. Go ahead, we dare you. The Good Dinosaur may not be the most popular Disney flick, but it's not without its effective scenes. The moment that hit us hardest was when Arlo, freshly separated from his family and still mourning the death of his father, tries sharing his feelings with Spot, a young cave boy.
I miss my family.
At first, it seems like they can't understand each other, but Spot quickly demonstrates that he comprehends Arlo and that he too has suffered a tremendous personal loss. When they lay their heads in the sand together, it's too much for us to handle. Number 13. Todd being left in the woods, The Fox and the Hound.
Goodbye may seem forever, farewell is like the end.
If we were ranking the overall saddest Disney movies, this one would easily be a contender. There are countless moments that left us with tears in our eyes, but this one stands out as the most heartbreaking. After their encounters with Amos and Chief, Widow feels like she has to let Todd free in order to keep him safe.
Such a short time ago, you looked at me, needing me so.
His lack of understanding as she drives him into the forest and eventually leaves him there is tough to watch. What's possibly even more devastating is the knowledge that Todd is never able to go back to live with her and spends the rest of his life in the woods. Number 12. Nick's backstory, Zootopia.
By God, I was gonna fit in, even if I was the only predator in the troop, the only fox.
With over $1 billion in box office sales and an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, we think it's safe to say that Zootopia hit home with viewers. Part of the reason for the film's success was scenes like this one, which, despite being a total tearjerker, is well acted and incredibly moving.
If you thought we would ever trust a fox without a muzzle, you're even dumber than you look.
It involves Nick revealing a painful childhood memory to Judy, one where he was betrayed and humiliated by a group of scouts who force him to wear a muzzle and berate him for being a fox.
I learned 2 things that day. 1, I was never gonna let anyone see that they got to me.
The scene is simply gut-wrenching, and one can't help but sympathize with Nick as he shamefully recounts the harrowing tale. Poor guy.
And 2?
If the world's only gonna see a fox as shifty and untrustworthy, there's no point in trying to be anything else.
Number 11. Baby Mine, Dumbo. There are several tear-jerking moments in this classic 1941 animated film, but by far the saddest is when Dumbo goes to visit his mother in her cell and she rocks him to sleep with a mournful lullaby.
You're so sweet, goodness knows, baby.
Her imprisonment begins when she's defending her baby from being bullied by a bunch of boys who are making fun of his comically large ears. Dumbo is so distraught after this emotional reunion, and viewers feel his sadness just as much. No matter how old you are, this Oscar-nominated song is sure to get the waterworks going. Number 10. Quasimodo's Humiliation, The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Now that's ugly!
The Hunchback of Notre Dame revolves around the struggles of Quasimodo, a disfigured bell ringer who longs for acceptance. In order to help him overcome his self-imposed isolation, his friends, a trio of stone gargoyles, persuade him to attend the annual Festival of Fools. At first, it goes well, with Quasimodo's strange appearance celebrated by the citizens of Paris. But things take a dark turn when people start to pelt him with food, and within moments, he is being tied up and ridiculed.
The fun's just beginning!
The worst comes when Quasimodo's own master refuses to help him. It's pretty hard to watch, especially for a film that was marketed towards children.
I'm sorry. This wasn't supposed to happen.
Number 9. Baymax's Sacrifice, Big Hero 6. If you're surprised the Big Hero 6 landed so high on our list, then you obviously haven't seen Big Hero 6.
I cannot deactivate until you say, "You are satisfied with your care."
Well then, I'm satisfied with my care.
The film has not one but two incredibly moving moments.
What about you?
You are my patient.
Baymax,
your health is my only concern.
Stop! No, I'm gonna figure out.
Are you satisfied with your care?
No! There's gotta be another way. I'm not gonna leave you here.
The first is when Hiro's older brother Tadashi tragically dies in an explosion after going into a burning building to try to save someone. The second is when Baymax sacrifices himself in order to save Hiro and Abigail near the end of the film.
I will always be with you.
As the music swells and Hiro says goodbye to his giant robotic friend, a lump will almost certainly begin to form in your throat.
I'm satisfied with my care.
Thankfully, Hiro is able to recreate Baymax, so everyone walks away happy. Number 8. Bambi's Mom Dying, Bambi.
Faster! Faster, Bambi!
By now we've come to know that the death of a main character's parents is a mainstay for Disney's animated movies. But back in 1942, children were probably shocked by the brutal demise of Bambi's mother. Even today it's hard to watch, despite the fact that it happens off-screen. Since this is a movie that's shown to children at a young age, it's often one of the first films they see where a character doesn't come back to life. It's a scene that doesn't pull punches, forcing us to accept the cruelty of life and death.
Your mother can't be with you anymore.
Number 7. Bing Bong, Inside Out.
We might as well be on another planet.
Like many other Disney films, Inside Out largely revolves around childhood nostalgia. The movie is all about emotions, so there are plenty of opportunities for heartache, but the story of Bing Bong outdoes the rest. Bing Bong is Riley's imaginary friend from when she was younger, and throughout the film we see him beginning to fade from her memory and struggling to stay with her. Finally though, he accepts his fate and lets go so Riley can grow up, leaving audiences remembering their own youthful imaginary pals.
Take her to the moon for me, okay?
Number 6. Ray's Funeral, The Princess and the Frog. A hopeless romantic and a loyal friend, Ray was literally one of this film's most illuminating characters.
Women like a man with a big back poach.
So it was with great sadness and a whole lot of Kleenex that we bid him adieu at the end. Watching his tiny little belly light slowly go out as Tiana Naveen and Louis solemnly watch is almost too much to handle. Disney has dealt with death on numerous occasions, and oftentimes characters find a way to make a miraculous recovery. But when they don't, it can weigh quite heavily on the conscience. This is one of those times. We'll miss you, Ray. Number 5. Andy saying goodbye to his toys, Toy Story 3.
I have some toys here.
There are many emotional moments in this movie, like when it seems that the toys are going to be incinerated. However, it's the grand finale that really gets the tears going. After all the adventures they've had together, Andy has to say goodbye to his toys. If you're someone who gets especially nostalgic, this scene will turn you into a wreck.
Now, you gotta promise to take good care of these guys. They mean a lot to me.
Seeing Andy play with Woody, Buzz, and the rest of the gang one final time is bittersweet. And there isn't a dry eye in the room when he finally drives off.
So long, partner.
This wasn't even the last farewell we'd have to witness, though, as Woody's heartfelt goodbye to Buzz, Jessie, and the rest of his friends at the end of Toy Story 4 also had us tearing up. Number 4. Ellie and Carl's Tale, Up. No one went into Up knowing that they would be bawling their eyes out in the first 10 minutes. But that's what happened to theater-goers everywhere. Before getting into the movie's main story, we're shown how Carl ended up living alone in his little house surrounded by high-rises. The love story that's told in the movie's intro is so simple and so tragic. The feelings are only compounded by the fact that we're totally blindsided by Ellie's death. Number 3. When Miquel sings Remember Me to Coco. Coco.
Mama Coco, please, don't forget him.
Coco, the story of a young boy who's transported to the land of the dead, took home 2 Academy Awards, including one for Best Original Song. It's
Remember me. Though I have to say goodbye, remember me.
The song in question was Remember Me, and it played a prominent role in the film, especially in this scene where Miquel sings it for his great-grandmother Coco. The scene is especially moving when you consider the fact that earlier in the film, Miquel met his great-great-grandfather and discovered that Remember Me was written just for Coco, so that she would never forget him.
Remember me, don't let it make you cry, for even if I'm far away, I hold you in my heart.
Put it all together and you have an instantly iconic Disney moment best served with a tissue.
Until you're in my arms again, remember me.
Number 2. Jessie's backstory, Toy Story 2.
Even though you're not moving, you feel like you're alive. Because that's how he sees you.
We'll be blunt. If you don't tear up while watching this scene, you might just be a robot. Jessie, the plucky cowgirl aching to be sent to a Japanese toy museum, has one of the most heartbreaking backstories in Disney history, as this scene poignantly reveals.
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful.
Watching Jessie transition from beloved toy to abandoned childhood trinket is almost too much to bear. The scene hits on multiple levels and demonstrates the all-encompassing pain of being discarded by someone we believe to have loved us. The montage culminates with Jessie being left in a box on the side of the road. And yeah, we're bawling our eyes out.
When she loved me.
Why did we make this video again?
You never forget kids like Emily or Andy. But they forget you.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Gurgi's Sacrifice, The Black Cauldron.
Taran has many friends. Gurgi has no friends.
Gurgi! No! Don't jump!
The Death of Tarzan's Parents, Tarzan. Lewis almost meets his mother at the orphanage. Meet the Robinsons. Megara's Death, Hercules.
Meg! Meg! No!
Ralph and Vanellope part ways. Ralph breaks the internet.
I love you so much. I'm really gonna miss you.
I'm gonna miss you too, kid. I really am.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Mufasa's death. The Lion King. There's no debate that our number 1 moment has to be the death of Simba's father in The Lion King. Every part of the scene is horrific, as Simba watches his dad get trampled by wildebeest. Although Mufasa tries clawing his way to safety, the villainous Scar ultimately throws him into the gorge.
Long live the king.
Discovering his father's body, Simba is unable to understand why Mufasa won't wake up at first. However, it doesn't take long for him to accept the tragedy he's witnessed. No matter how familiar you are with the scene, watching Simba snuggle his way under Mufasa's paw will get you choked up every time. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.